Hi everyone and welcome to another rock pooling vlog. This week we are going to explore another amazing rock pool, and honestly I get some of the coolest underwater shots possible, and we're going to be focusing on the underwater shots because my microphone completely broke when I was in the field because, well, basically I did this.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
And after that atrocity I think my microphone just went no. Just no.
Surely they can't all.
And although, you know, there's lots of X-rated things you can say about sea hares, I wasn't just completely swearing. My microphone just died and I don't do what I tell everyone in my training to do and check the audio. I didn't. So we're just going to focus on the lovely underwater footage, like this beautiful worm pipefish. And speaking of worms, this is the actual eggs of a green leaf worm. I love including these. They look like aliens. I say it a lot in these videos, but they really do. I found so many this year as well. They've really been around. And this is a form of dog whelk, which is actually, well, it is a snail, as you can see, but it's off on a hunting adventure. These are actually carnivores, and that little snoot at the end is probably trying to sense out its next meal. It will go along and it will drill into maybe the shell of a limpet. It will slurp it out of the shell and guzzle it down. So there you go, nice information. And then I really got treated with this. This is a little tiny juvenile sea scorpion. It is a fish, it's just got a really cool name. And it was tiny. I mean, we're talking fingernail big. It was super tiny and very chill. Often this is not how juvenile species are, so I was really making the most of just getting these extraordinary close-up shots. It didn't seem stressed out, it just seemed to be chilling, and I understand why it maybe is doing this reaction, because it's blending in so well with the rock that if you're super tiny and there's a big scary human there, then just pretending you're part of the rock and hopefully it's like, hopefully she won't see me. I don't know. We're just going to risk it for a biscuit and stay here. And it absolutely is working. I mean, if I hadn't seen this swimming along and settling down there, I wouldn't have seen it at all. It's absolutely incredible. To get these shots of that, you know, the close-up of how its scales look and how its fins are moving, I was absolutely mesmerised by this creature. And then I found another one later on swimming along, and I was like, honestly, it's so small I couldn't see. I didn't know what it was chewing until I got back into editing, and I was blown away. Look at this, the greedy little fishy. That is a juvenile flatfish. It has folded up in half a juvenile flatfish and is trying to stuff it in its gob. Amazing. I just love that. And then we found another really cool sea slug. This was gorgeous. Oh, that's a brittle star. Camera pet person, back to the sea slug, thank you. Now this sea slug is called Cladinia laevis, which I'm not great at nailing the Latin. Is anyone? Not really. But finding out about this species has led me down a very exciting research rabbit hole, including a 38-page document talking all about the glands of this species. Now, why do I want to know about the glands of this species? Well, buckle in, because you are going to want to know about them too. So if you look to the outer edges of the sea slug, where it's a bit more transparent, there are these white dots that sit on the outside. And I read up in my book all about nudibranchs that these are defensive glands. Now this happens a lot with sea slugs because they're sluggy, they haven't got a shell to protect them. So lots of sea slugs have evolved ways to protect themselves using things like chemicals. Now some sea slugs go along and they eat hydroids, which are like little baby jellyfish, and they take those bits of stinging cells, the ones that haven't fired off yet, and they move them into sacs in their body. That means that if you brush up against it or something eats it, it's going to get stung. But these eat sponges. They don't eat things with stinging cells, and yet they have still evolved these defensive kind of glands. And what has occurred because of this is that somehow, and I'm not entirely sure if it is known or I couldn't work out what it was, is that either they're taking chemicals from the sponges and using that, or they're using biosynthesis. So they're taking the chemicals that they do get from sponges, mixing it all up into a new defensive chemical. And this happens across this kind of group of sea slugs. I think that's just absolutely fascinating. I mean, how cool is that? This is a huge anemone with red stripes. It's really cool. And another brittle star. I just love these. Honestly, they are very gorgeous. I can't quite believe that they just all come in these amazing patterns and variations. This is a nice porcelain crab who is just chilling, and before we end it, I wanted to show you this very, very old mussel. Now this, I don't know how long mussels live for. Seems to be the oldest and crustiest mussel I have ever found, but I wanted to show you how they filter feed. So they pull in water, take out all of the nutrients and pump it back out. In fact, mussels are incredibly great for water quality. They're so unbelievably good at this filtration. So I sped up this mussel, and I think it's so cool that you can see it pumping and moving, and this is over the course of minutes and minutes and minutes, but I just think it's really awesome that all these mussels are there working hard on the shore to make the water lovely and clean. It's doing that because it's getting also loads of food, so I mean, who would blame it? That sounds like a great deal, right? It's also really awesome that this mussel is home to other things. So that was a corallina algae on top of it. I'm not entirely sure what is in the tubes actually. I didn't really notice that when I was there, but maybe if I go back and find this very crusty mussel, I don't think it'll be moving. I can work out what is kind of on those tubes there, because I think that's so cool that it's home to that. There's some hydrids on there, I think, and definitely some different types of seaweeds, all just because this lovely mussel is living its best life. A massive thank you to my patrons, and you can head over there to access exclusive content and get your own digital illustration to add to our online rock pooling wall.